Hello everyone, Sarah here at Three Little Potters, and I have a really fun video for you today. We're going to do Battle of the Yellow Glazes. Which one does it best? So up on the block I have Curry. I've never used this. This one's still sealed. And Parakeet Yellow, which I already know I do like. I have Frosted Lemon by Mayco. And Amaco's Sunbeam, which is also still sealed. I'm also going to throw into the mix my own Studio White glaze with 4 grams of Canary stain and 2 grams of light Rutile added to it. So we're going to kind of get a feel for how these yellow glazes react. I'm going to do some on the blue, extreme blue clay, some over under. I have some brown bear clay, some shell toey, and I'm going to do some different combos with these. But for the most part, I'm going to try to see if there's one that's better than the other. Who wins in this battle of the yellows? For my control pieces, I'm going to be doing 3 brushed coats of each glaze. This is Sunbeam going on. Jojo watching me film. So because these glazes all look fairly similar in color to each other, I'm going to have to be a little bit extra organized to keep everything straight. So this is what we're working with so far. As an interesting side note, mine with Canary and Rutile stain look very similar to these other ones. I'm continuing on with glazing the controls for each glaze. Since my mixed glaze can be dipped, I'm going to see if I can fit that in there. Okay. So this is it with shell toey clay, and it'll be going in the kiln like that. This brown bear is already sort of a ruined one, so I don't really mind if it doesn't come out well. I'm going to go ahead and do the inside anyway. And then I'm going to go ahead and dip it down to here. Okay, this is the control over B-Mix 5 clay. So that's going to go in the kiln like that. This will be over the Dragon Fruit Extreme Blue. I have high hopes for this combo. I'm going to roll that in a little bit. I'm definitely trying to leave some of that blue peeking out because it's so pretty. So that's ready for the kiln like that. This is my Studio White glaze. And I'm going to do 1 coat of each of these over my Studio White glaze. So that one's ready for the kiln. To keep myself straight, I'm going to try to do the Studio White ones first and kind of keep them a little bit together. All right. Frosted Lemon over Studio White. This is Studio White. It's getting a coat of Parakeet on it. Parakeet looks like it's settled already. All right. All right, that's Parakeet Yellow. Spectrum Curry over Studio White. And this is Sunbeam over Studio White. The brush coats of these are going to be a little bit time consuming to accomplish, so don't worry, I'm not going to make you watch all the coats, but I am going to do 3 coats on the controls. So that was start of Parakeet Yellow. All right, I'm going to repeat that times 3, 6, 9, 12 Um, 24 more times and then I'll pop back on once second coat's done, and then we can finish up and do the third coat together. While I'm waiting for the first coat to dry, I'm going to go ahead and do some top coats of this. So this dish has been dipped in micropearl and it's getting a layer of parakeet. And just one on these, and I'm sticking to the inside. My micropearl dish getting a coat of curry. Sunbeam over micropearl. This is my mixed yellow going over the micropearl. The last test with the micropearl will be frosted lemon going over that. All right, starting coat 2 on everything. Does make you wish they were all dipping glazes so that I'd already be done. For the blue dragon fruit mini vases, I'm also going to do 3 brushed coats on the top half of those. So this is frosted lemon coat 1. So this curry one, it's fluid enough and the vase is small enough that I dipped it. Sorry, I don't know if that's cheating. I feel like one dip is usually 3 thick coats, so see if I have regrets. So that one I'm going to put in the kiln, and that is curry. If the Sunbeam opening was a little bit larger, I think I'd dip that one too. But somehow I picked the fat vase for Sunbeam, and now I can't dip it. All right, coat 1. All right, second coats are on. I'm ready to do the final third coat on all of these and get them in the kiln. Third coat of Sunbeam going on this. All right, ready for the kiln. Third coat of Parakeet going on here. My Parakeet glaze has got a little thick. I think I need to add some water. Third coat of frosted lemon going on the control. All right, so this is the B-Mix control of frosted lemon. This is the B-Mix control of Parakeet. Third coat here. Just going on the inside with that in case it runs. Keeping myself straight here. Third coat of curry going on here. Third coat of Sunbeam. I'm hoping this is a nice bright yellow. This is Sheltoe clay. Third coat going on here. Sorry, sweetie's knocking my camera. And this is my brown bear clay. Third coat of Sunbeam here. This is Rue stoneware getting a third coat of Sunbeam. It's a lid that doesn't fit anything. Sorry. I don't have a lot of Rue test left. For curry, this is the brown bear. Third coat going on here. Curry on Rue stoneware, third coat. Sort of a pressed flour dish. This is curry on Sheltoe clay, third coat going on. Parakeet yellow on Sheltoe. Had to flip the bottom and make sure. Trying to keep myself straight here. Third coat of Parakeet on brown bear clay. Third coat of Frosted Lemon going on the extreme blue bud vase. Brown bear sample here. Do third coat of Frosted Lemon on Sheltoe. All right, we're having a big storm go by outside, so if you hear some crash bangs, that's what's going on. I've decided to use Aurora Breeze to do a top coat over each of these to kind of see what happens. So Aurora Breeze over Sunbeam first. And I'm just going to do one brushed coat over top. And I think I'm not going to go too far on the inside either. So that is Sunbeam. Aurora Breeze over Curry. Make sure I've got my order correct here. Aurora Breeze over Parakeet by Coyote. Aurora Breeze over Frosted Lemon. And this is my Studio Yellow, we'll call it. And I'm going to do Aurora Breeze over that. All right. For a few bonus pieces, this piece of Rouge stoneware has been dipped in my Studio Yellow. And I'm going to do a band of Sunrise on this. Okay. This has also been dipped in my Studio Yellow, and I'm going to do Sand and Sea over the top of it. Just like that. And this is all my yellow tests ready for the kiln. The yellow test results are out of the kiln, and I don't think there is a clear winner here, but there are some sort of differences between them. So let's hop over and look. And just a note on this, I will say I worked really hard to organize these, and getting them out of the kiln and reorganizing them was more tricky than expected, or maybe as hard as expected, but it definitely was a lot. So let's look at all my hard work. All right, let's look at them overall before we start. So right here we have my Studio White with the yellow stain added, Frosted Lemon, Sunbeam, Curry, and then yellow, Parakeet Yellow. So at the top we have it on the extreme blue bud vases. The next in line is the control of just the plain glaze, 3 coats. Next down from that is over Studio White. And down from that is Aurora Breeze as a cover glaze. Interesting on that Parakeet Yellow. Down from that is it over Micro Pearl. So Parakeet Yellow over Micro Pearl doing something really interesting there. And possibly over Micro Pearl, the best result was on Curry, with Curry. A little bit of crawling with Lemon Frost and Micro Pearl. Micro Pearl with my Studio Yellow, really not very exciting. When we get down to the Sheltoe clay, I feel like the results were even, my Studio didn't really do anything with it. That's Lemon Frost here. Sunbeam. So Lemon Frost and Sunbeam are very close together. I think Sunbeam is just a slightly warmer tone. And then Curry. And then Parakeet. What a difference between the color in Parakeet and Curry. On brown bear clay, I feel like my Studio White with the yellow stain did a really good job. Frosted Lemon and Sunbeam about the same. Curry a little bit more transparent with sort of a a bluish hint. Not sure how I feel about that. I did not love it when it was on the, here, let's bring this over. When it was on this clay, I feel like it kind of, the yellow almost gave like a pukey green a little bit there. Less so on Brown Bear. And here we have Parakeet, which is, I think Parakeet is arguably the best one. Although, look here, I see a tiny imperfection. For Sheltoey clay, Parakeet might also be my favorite. It's definitely a bright yellow. For the micro pearl examples, I might go with Curry right here in the center. And then when it came to our Aurora Breeze, I feel like Sunbeam was the winner for me. Over white, I would also pick Sunbeam. The controls just depends on what shade of yellow you're looking for. I think, you know, Frosted Lemon and Sunbeam are kind of comparable, interchangeable. I like the color of Parakeet personally a little better. For the bud vases, it's not even a question for me. Parakeet is by far, I feel like, the better glaze on this extreme blue. It held its yellow, it didn't go weirdly green, and it has enough variation within it. And it breaks well around that rim. It looks interesting. It's just to me, this is a standalone glaze. It works well by itself. It doesn't need anything else. These other ones, I think Sunbeam is in my number 2 spot here. Frosted Lemon, I think I would use this layered with another glaze, not by itself. I feel like on the Brown Bear, 3 coats of these, I would expect better coverage for 3 coats. So if I was working with Brown Bear, even layering, I think I'd go with the single dip of Studio White with stain in it, rather than working so hard to do multiple coats on these two. Once again, just sort of an overall look at these glazes. And this dish, if you remember, was cracked when I started, so that's not a new flaw. There were a few bonus pieces in here. This is Sunbeam on the Rue Stoneware. And this is Curry on Rue Stoneware. This was my Studio White with yellow stain and some Sunrise on Rue Stoneware. These two really not mixing together much. This, I think, would have been a stronger combo if I'd used Frosted Lemon as a base. Sand and Sea over my Studio Yellow was really pretty, though. So what do you think? Which glaze won in your opinion? Which one of these would you buy? For me, I think the standalone glaze winner would be Parakeet. And I think for layering, I might think Sunbeam, or Sunbeam just as good as Lemon Frost. So surprised that Sunbeam worked better over Micro Pearl. Gives me some ideas. I definitely will try Sunbeam in the future as a layer in more pieces. But yeah, I'd love to hear your opinion. What did you think of this test results? Do you love these yellow glazes? What's your favorite yellow glaze combo, and who was the winner? Thanks for watching. I'd love it if you liked and subscribed. Another last bonus piece here. I did do a larger bowl combination. This was first dipped in Studio White, then has a layer of Lemon Frost over top of that, and then it has a layer of Aurora Breeze and a second layer of Lemon Frost along that rim.